morning, everybody, and welcome to our service this morning. And a very special welcome to Anna, who I didn't manage to make the last time she preached at Fleet, but we are so delighted that she's going to lead our worship this morning. Thank you, Anna, much appreciated.
My pleasure.
Before we start, could we just join in prayer together, please? Dear God, silence all voices within our minds but your own. Help us to seek and be able to follow your will. May our prayers be joined with those of our sisters and brothers in faith, that together we may glorify your name and enjoy your fellowship forever. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Margaret, for that welcome. It's lovely to be with you. As I said earlier on, I'm glad I wasn't driving down. So let us worship God together. The Lord is here and we will praise him. The Lord is here and we will worship him. The Lord is here and we will trust him. The Lord is here and we will honor him. The Lord is here and he has called us to give him the glory. And so we come to our prayers together. Let us pray. Gracious God, Lord of all, we thank you that we can come to you in prayer, that for all your greatness and wonder and holiness, we can speak to you as a friend. We thank you that we can open our hearts to you, that we can pour out our innermost souls and share our deepest thoughts in the knowledge that you are there and always ready to listen and understand. Hear now our prayer.
And teach us to listen to you in response.
So now once more we lay our lives before you, open to your gaze, the bad as well as the good, the doubt as well as the faith, the sorrow as well as the joy, the despair as well as the hope. We bring the anger as well as the peace, the hatred as well as the love, the confusion as well as the certainty, the fear as well as the trust. Hear now our prayer.
And teach us to listen to you in response.
Gracious God, we bring these not with a sense of pride or any sense of arrogance, but honestly, recognizing that you know us through and through. Help us now to be truthful to ourselves and truthful to you, and so we may discover the renewing love which only you can offer, a love that frees us to live as you would have us live, and allows us to be the people you would have us be. Hear now our prayer.
And teach us to listen to you in response.
In the name of Christ, amen. And as one family, let us say together the prayer that Jesus gave us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we
Anna, can you unmute yourself, please?
I'm sorry, has all that been death?
That last bit.
Just the last bit.
Oh, that was funny. Okay, we're coming to the hymn then.
Yeah.
What a friend we have in Jesus. At least he could hear me. Did they not hear any then?
Yeah, they heard it in there.
I never touched it.
It was up yellow all the time.
Thank you. Now, Kathy is going to read Acts 12, verses 5 to 17. Thank you, Kathy.
Acts 12, verses 5 to 17. So Peter was kept in prison, but the church was earnestly praying to God for him. The night before Herod was to bring him to trial, Peter was sleeping between two soldiers, bound with two chains, and sentries stood guard at the entrance. Suddenly an angel of the Lord appeared, and a light shone in the cell. He struck Peter on the side and woke him up. "Quick, get up," he said, and the chains fell off Peter's wrists. Then the angel said to him, "Put on your clothes and sandals." And Peter did so. "Wrap your cloak around you and follow me," the angel told him. Peter followed him out of the prison, but he had no idea that what the angel was doing was really happening. He thought he was seeing a vision. They passed the first and the second guards and came to the iron gate leading to the city. It opened for them by itself, and they went through it. When they had walked the length of one street, suddenly the angel left him. Then Peter came to himself and said, "Now I know without doubt that the Lord has sent his angel and rescued me from Herod's clutches and from everything the Jewish people were hoping would happen." When this had dawned on him, he went to the house of Mary, the mother of John, also called Mark, where many people had gathered and were praying. Peter knocked at the outer entrance, and a servant named Rhoda came to answer the door. When she recognized Peter's voice, she was so overjoyed she ran back without opening it and exclaimed, "Peter is at the door." "You're out of your mind," they told her. When she kept insisting that it was so, they said, "It must be his angel." But Peter kept on knocking, and when they opened the door and saw him, they were astonished. Peter motioned with his hand for them to be quiet and described how the Lord had brought him out of prison. "Tell James and the other brothers and sisters about this," he said, and then he left for another place. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God.
Thank you, Kathy. And a reflection on that reading. Peter has been imprisoned and is most likely facing death. His friends and fellow followers of Jesus are in earnest prayer meeting. It's late at night, and Peter, as he followed the angel out of prison, must have felt that he was dreaming. But he soon realizes that he is indeed free, and the chill of the Judean night air would have brought him fully awake, even though the angel had told him to put his cloak on. He makes his way to Mary's house. In trouble, Peter turned to those fellow followers of Jesus, where he knew he would find solace. But it's not Peter that I want to think about. It's Rhoda, a young girl at the prayer meeting in Mary's house. We don't know who she was. Was she a member of the household? Was she a friend of John Mark or a fellow believer? Or was she just a maid sitting quietly in the background? She may even have been just a carefree young teenager. We just don't know. But whatever the situation is, she's there at the prayer meeting, praying to the Lord for Peter's safety. Peter is standing at the gate of the premises, knocking for admittance. He probably realised that being out late at night in the dark was not a safe place to be, and he wanted to get into safety. And this is where we meet Rhoda. Did everyone at the prayer meeting hear that knocking? Or was it only Rhoda? But she did hear it, and she slipped out to investigate. In either case, for all her youthful eagerness, it must have been with a certain amount of trepidation that she went and crossed the courtyard and stood behind the gate with that resounding, thunderous knocking on the other side. For all Rhoda knew, it could have been a Centurion guard come to arrest one of them, or even all of them, to be taken to prison to join Peter. Peter, however, on the other side of the gate, was probably thinking, the sooner I get in off this street, the better, and knocked probably even louder. So Rhoda eventually, in a clear, young voice, called out, probably with more courage than she actually had, "Who's there?" And the answer was, in that gruff, well-remembered voice, "Peter, of course, let me in." In her relief from apprehension and joy that their prayers had been answered, she inadvertently left him standing outside and ran in to tell the others. Now, excuse me. Now here is the most intriguing part of the story. The assembled brethren didn't believe her. "Peter at the gate," they said. "What rubbish. You must be mad." They knew perfectly well that Peter was in prison, and people in prison didn't get out. Certainly not one of Herod's prisons. As we heard, he was chained to 2 soldiers, he had guards outside, and he had locked doors to get through, so how possibly could he have escaped? They said, "You're imagining things." They had been praying unceasingly for Peter's release, and now they're told he was standing at the gate, and they refused to believe it. One is justified in wondering how much of faith was mingled with the prayers. Perhaps, though, it might be more charitable and maybe nearer the truth to assume that these immature and inexperienced Christians had not yet appreciated the true power of prayer. They took a lot of persuading. "You're mad," they told her, but she constantly said, "It's Peter at the door." One can imagine the young girl trying hard to induce the stubborn grown-ups around her to take her seriously. Peter, of course, was still knocking, but nobody took any notice of that. Nobody went down to actually see if there was somebody really there. Finding it impossible to dissuade Rhoda, and being in what it seemed reluctant to test the truth of her news, the brethren decided that it must be Peter's guardian angel, speaking apparently in Peter's voice. The early Christians had a very intense and definite belief in the existence of guardian angels, though why they should expect an angel to stand outside a door, street, and knocking for admittance and not just appear, or why they didn't send someone out to the door, we just don't know. Some adults always think they're right. But Peter continued knocking, probably definitely thunderous knocking by now, so that at last, for the very shame's sake, they opened the door. And when they saw him, they were astonished. This is the only place in all the scriptures where a company of believers join in supplicatory prayer as stated as having been astonished at receiving the object of their petition. These ardent prayers were so bound up in praying that they were not open to the answer. Rhoda was in her innocence. I sometimes wonder, do we pray so hard that we forget to listen, to accept an answer, doubt an answer we feel is impossible? My God, there are so many things to do and think about, and I feel overwhelmed. I pray for the right perspective and calm disposition that I may do all things with the right attitude at the right time and accept the answer you give. Amen. And so we come to our prayers of intercession. Let us pray. Loving God, there are times when we look at people's lives and find it hard to believe that things can ever change for the better. We see them racked by illness, weighed down by anxiety, tormented by depression, crippled by debt, broken by alcohol, destroyed by drugs, scarred by bereavement, shattered through unemployment, and wonder what their prospects are, what hope we can realistically offer them, what help can we possibly give. Transforming God, hear our prayer.
And help us to listen to your response.
We pray for such people known to us now, family, friends, members of our fellowships, colleagues at work, neighbours, acquaintances, as well as the countless people unknown to us, each struggling under their own particular burdens. And let us take a moment in the stillness for our own private prayers. Transforming God, hear our prayer.
And help us to listen to your response.
We pray for our world, for the many people who are facing suffering, injustice, hardship, and death, for those experienced the forgotten wars that no longer reach the news, for refugees and migrants. We pray for America too, in their transition with the new president, that rifts and divisions may be healed. And we pray for this country too, for the pandemic, for those who have suffered through it, through bereavement, ill health, for those in the country too who experienced the flooding from the storm, and now with snow on top. We commend everybody involved in helping all the emergency services, all the other agencies that come together. Lord, we commend all of them to your care and love. Reach out to all who are in despair, we pray. All who long for change but see only hopelessness stretching before them. Touch their lives and bring them hope, healing and holiness. Transforming God, hear our prayer.
And help us to listen to your response.
Loving God, it's sometimes hard to believe that those around us, still less the world around, can ever change for the better. Help us see beneath the surface, recognizing you are at work and that things can change. Help us to see beyond appearances, recognizing you are a God able to transform even the most helpless situations, as we saw in our reading today. Give to us and to all people the assurance that there is no one and no situation unable to be transformed by your power. Transforming God, hear our prayer.
And help us to listen to your response.
These and all our prayers, voiced aloud or in our thoughts, we offer to you in the name of Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
And so we come to our second and final hymn, And Can It Be? God we worship is our strength and our song. The God we serve is our courage and our reward. The God we trust is our hope and our joy. He now sends us out to declare his glory and to serve him in his name, and with the blessing of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Amen.